Is Israel accepting the 21-point peace plan that Donald Trump has presented to Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House? Kerem Gurgistani, International Affairs editor, pointing out 20 points is how it appears to be right now. But basically, the situation appears to be moving along from the Israeli side of things. But of course, on the other side of the equation, Hamas has not yet responded, and we don't know precisely what Hamas is going to say until, of course, they come out and tell us. Let's go to Jerusalem. Noga Tarnopolsky is there for us, our correspondent there. Noga, great to have you as always. I'm wondering what the word is where you are, what the reaction is, what your sense is about what we've been hearing.
The reaction in Israel was immediate and very, very harsh. The news that the White House released ahead of the press conference that Trump had compelled Netanyahu to apologize to Qatar. Qatar is the country that has funded Hamas for years, that has been a renowned funder, financier of terror around the Middle East for many years, and transferred funds to the tune of around $1 billion to Hamas itself in Gaza at Netanyahu's request. So the fact that the White House let it be known that Netanyahu apologized to the Qatari Prime Minister, and the way that the White House handcuffed Netanyahu by releasing a written statement ahead of the press conference, confirming that he had expressed deep regret over the attack, the Israeli airstrike on Qatar recently, in which Israel was targeting Hamas leaders taking refuge in Doha, in the Qatari capital, which failed to achieve its goals, but deeply, deeply offended Qatar over the breach of sovereignty. President Trump clearly compelled an apology from Netanyahu. And this has resulted in the finance minister, Netanyahu's finance minister, calling him a Chamberlain, his minister of Interior Security, Ben Gvir, calling him even worse, and a wide range of attacks by the opposition for what is being seen as a humiliation to the country. The press conference itself was a fairly odd event in Israeli eyes. The prime minister said very little, accepted Trump's terms completely, and attempted to spin them as if they reflected what Netanyahu called that they achieve our war aims. In Israel, it's not clear how that happens, given that Hamas clearly survives and has not been defeated as a body, that it would be forced or compelled to lay down its arms by Qatar or by other Arab nations, but it would not be defeated, and many other questions, including where the Israeli army would withdraw to. So the reactions here have been really very severe. We're hearing a somewhat different tone from the hostages' families, who put out a statement just a few minutes ago expressing their deep hope that what they call at this special juncture, that somehow their loved ones will still be saved.
That, of course, the major issue that has put so much pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu from within Israeli society, Noga, isn't it? The fate of those hostages.
Yeah, if we take a step back, Mark, we're talking about two miscalculations, as I see it. Hamas miscalculated, assuming that the Israeli ethos of leave no man behind applied also to Netanyahu. And they took the example of Netanyahu years ago now, more than 10 years ago, releasing around 1,000 Palestinian prisoners, including Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, who went on to lead the October 7th attack, in exchange for a single Israeli soldier who had been taken hostage and held by Hamas for 5 years. That was the case of Gilad Shalit. And it evidently led Hamas to make this assumption that if they took Israeli hostages, Netanyahu would be forced to accede. And Netanyahu did not respond to that. He didn't respond to hundreds of thousands of Israelis in the streets demanding it. He didn't respond when Hamas kept being able to kill Israeli soldiers. And we see on the Israeli side also a miscalculation on Netanyahu's part. It's evident today that he did not think this question of the hostages' fate would capture the Israeli public the way it did. And he found himself stuck between Hamas's expectations and Israelis' expectations. And he had to act in the face of each. He refused, I have to say. The only person, as we've been saying on your program, Mark, for several weeks, the only person able to put pressure on Netanyahu, able to get a response out of Netanyahu, is and was Donald Trump. All of this said, there is no signed agreement yet. And there is also no okay yet from Hamas. So we're not quite over the edge, but it does feel like a different possibility is now in the air.